Welcome to our lecture example. PaintMan Limited is a paint manufacturing company situated in East London. The company has a 30 June financial year end. Additional information. On 1 July 2014, PaintMan Limited placed a non-cancelable order for a new state-of-the-art paint machine patent at an American supplier for $118,750. On this date, it was highly probable that the transaction would take place. The machine was shipped free on board on 1 October 2014. The machine was available for use as intended by management on 1 January 2015. The machine has an estimated useful life of 5 years and no residual value was allocated to the machine. The spot rate on 1 July 2014 was 9.85. Now guys, when you look at this information, they only provide us with a spot rate on 1 July 2014, which is the date when they've placed the non-cancelable order. However, they have shipped this machine free on board on 1 October. Therefore, technically speaking, I would say that that is our transaction date. But when you look at the information provided, we can only use the R9.85. Therefore, that is what you will have to use. Therefore, guys, we can identify that we may recognize our asset for the 20.15 financial year, and we will have to start with our depreciation on 1 January 20.15 when the asset is available for use as intended by management. Therefore, 118,750 times 9.85. And our cost will be 1169688. And our depreciation for the period 1 Jan 20.15 till 30 June 20.15 will be an amount of 116,969. Point number 2. On 1 August 20.13, PaintMan Limited commenced with research on a prototype for a new CO2-free paint formula called the CO2 Saver. The research phase was completed on 31 March 2014 and development of the new prototype commenced on 1 April 2014. On this date, the Chief Financial Officer of PaintMan Limited determined that all the requirements for the recognition of an intangible asset were satisfied. The development of the CO2 Saver was completed on 31 March 2015. Therefore, on our timeline, we can identify that our research phase will be from 1 August 20.13 until 1 April 20.14. And they indicate to us the development of the CO2 Saver completed on 31 March 20.15. Okay, so guys, important to identify, our year end is 30 June 20.14 and 30 June 20.15. Our development phase will be from 1 April 20.14 until 31 March 20.15. In the next paragraph, the total cost incurred during the research and development phase of the CO2 Saver during the 2014 financial year amounted to 675,000, of which 540,000 directly relates to the research phase of the product. You can assume that all development costs incurred after 1 April 20.14. Now guys, for our 20.14 year end, this will be the period from 1 August 20.13 till 30 June 20.14. Okay, therefore August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April will be a period of 9 months. April, May, June will be for a period of 3 months. And they indicate to us that the total research and development for 20.14 period is an amount of 675,000, of which 540,000 relates to our research phase. Therefore, the remaining portion will be our development phase. The following costs relating to the CO2 saver were incurred during 20.15 financial year. Direct labor costs amounting to 350,000 per month. The annual salary of the head of research division amounts to 800,000. Now, important to identify that this is annual salary. During the period from 1 July 20.14 until 31 March 20.15, the head of the research division spent 50% of his time on development. Therefore, we need to know that we need to capitalize the amount relating to this period that the head of research spent on the development. Another machine of PaintMan Limited was exclusively used for the development of the CO2 saver for a period of 3 months during the development phase. The machine was purchased on 1 April 2012 at a cost of 4.8 million and had an estimated useful life of 8 years with no residual value. Now guys, you need to identify the depreciation relating to this machine should be capitalized as part of our development costs. The CO2 saver has an estimated useful life of 10 years and a 200,000 residual value was allocated to it. The prototype was available for use as intended by management on 1 April 20.15. The following is an extract from the accounting policies of PaintMan Limited. Intangible assets are accounted for in accordance with a cost model. Amortization is written off accordance with a straight line method over the assets' estimated useful lives and assume all amounts are material. Disclose only the intangible asset note in the notes to the annual financial statements of PaintMan Limited for the year ended 30 June 20.15. A total column is not required. And guys, please note your answers need to comply with IFRS. Round all your amounts to your nearest rand. Ignore VAT. Accounting policy notes are not required. And ignore your comparative information. Okay, so plan of action. First things first, include your template as well as your timelines for calculation purposes. Second step, complete your calculations, and very, very important, remember to please transfer your calculations to your template. Our first step, we had to include our template. Please remember guys, you will have 2 columns. One, your internally generated asset, and the second one, your purchased intangible asset. Now, our asset purchased will be the amount of 1169688 that we have calculated during our reading time, and we have already determined our amortization. Our internally generated asset, we have already identified that for the year end 30 June 20.14, we have development costs of 135,000. We now need to calculate the additions for the current year. Okay, now they've indicated to us that we have our direct labor, the 350,000 times 9 months. Why 9 months, guys? If you look at our timeline from 1 July 20.14 Therefore, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. This is a period of 9 months. Therefore, monthly salary times the 9 months. Then they've indicated to us that the head spend 800,000 is the annually salary. Therefore, divide by 12 months times the 9 months times 50%, as this is the time that he spent on our project. And they've indicated to us that we had a machine of 4.8 million, and this machine spent 3 months on our project. Therefore, we had to allocate the depreciation relating to this machine to our development costs. And this amounts to a total of 3.6 million. And then we can calculate our accumulated or our current year's amortization, which will be the 3.6 million plus the prior year's amount, capitalized 135,000, minus our residual value divided by our 10 years times 3/12, and our amortization 88,375. Guys, pretty straightforward. I'm sure that you are able to do this. Please let me know if you have any questions.